In this workshop, I will be presenting part of my AD formula based on my book, Love Your Obstacles, from a personal and professional experience. Love Your Obstacle is all about overcoming obstacles and turning them into opportunities using the AD formula. The AD formula has 3 elements: the accept, decide, and dream, with 4 modules in each element. There are 12 modules to complete the AD formula. Normally, it requires 1.5 hours, but today I will be presenting the first element of the AD formula, accept. Accept is a process that has 4 modules. I will be compressing these 1.5 hours into 30 minutes. So I may need to talk a bit faster so we can cover these steps in each module. Then we just have 1 activity in each module if we have time. Learning the, the learning outcome for this is you will be able to acknowledge and recognize any obstacle in your life, and you will begin to practice better coping strategies with challenging experiences. And the third one is you can begin to realize your inner power through acceptance. And the fourth one is you can implement different strategies of acceptance. What is an obstacle? An obstacle is anything that blocks or gets in your way to delay, prevent, obstruct, or even stop your progress, growth, and development. An obstacle could be tangible or intangible, internal or external. Obstacles such as your negative thoughts, financial hardships, relationships, work, or even as simple as chair that's blocking your way to pass by. There are times where we go through different forms of obstacles in our life, such as losing a loved one, going through a divorce, having incident or accident, or going through a tough time where everything seems out of control. For some people, obstacle can break them or spin them into a cycle of hardship and depression and anxiety, while others can define and strengthen them beyond their wildest imagination. Does any of this sound familiar? Everyone has an obstacle to go through. The most painful obstacle I had experienced was losing both my parents at a very young age. Handling the death of my father at 3 years of age and my mother at 10 years of age after losing her battle with cancer. They were the most agonizing and distressful obstacle in my life. And that's when I started to realize that I had to learn how to overcome different forms of obstacles in my life. At the age of 10, I had formulated the AD formula without even realizing it. I was unconsciously following a formula that paved my way to where I am now. This is my AD formula. I say add to your life, not to subtract whenever you experience any obstacle in life. Sorry. The accept, the first one is the accept. Accept is an active process, one that must be practiced consciously. Accept that some obstacles are beyond our control. Based on my background in psychology, accepting negative experience may protect individuals from experiencing negative effect and from developing depressive symptoms. Accepting doesn't mean that you've chosen or endorsed your anxiety, want your chronic pain, or even support an injustice that happened to you or someone else. It means facing the situation squarely and realistically, taking full responsibility and being prepared and ready to face life head on. When you accept, it permits you to be assertive, creative, certain, energetic, positive, thankful, and grateful. Through acceptance, it allows you to decide to move forward. Decide. Pick yourself up. Don't let obstacle hold you back and cripple your future. Then dream. Dream of a better future. It is our dream that gives us hope and reason to live. And it's free to dream. It's only our dream that no one can take away from us. In the ad formula, I will be talking today the accept. Accept has 4 modules. It has the acknowledge presence of obstacles, assess situation, eliminate fears, and practice gratitude. To acknowledge an obstacle is to perceive and take notice of them. It is to admit, understand its reality, and recognize their genuine existence and validity. It is important to recognize the magnitude of an obstacle, its total impact, and the possible benefits and opportunities embedded in the obstacle. There are 3 steps in the acknowledge. The first one is to admit an obstacle. Admit the existence of any obstacle. Do not try to mask or deny it. Have the strength within to realize you are in control and you are the only one who can change it. Denying its existence will not make it go away. You only cut yourself off from the opportunity that are embedded in the obstacle. Remember that you can't fix anything until you admit there is an obstacle. Understand the reality. Understanding the reality of obstacle can lead to a better future decision making, both practical and purposeful. Acknowledge any role you may have played, good or bad, to develop a clear understanding of your options. And identify your contributions to foster success or failure. Recognize the magnitude. You may admit and understand the reality of an obstacle, but not recognizing its significant impact. When you recognize the magnitude of an obstacle, you open a door to measure how vast the issue is and address the issue rationally. This allows you to be more objective, to dissect and analyze the impact could be on the situation. I remember when I was 10 years old, just 6 weeks after the death of my mother, I realized that the absence of my mother had a great emotional impact on me, where most nights I would to cry myself to sleep. I had to admit my unfortunate reality that no amount of tears could bring my mother back. Her death was beyond my control. She was gone forever, and if I kept crying, it would only make my life miserable, leading to depression. I want you to reflect on any recent challenging experience that you had and how did you respond? And we will go back to that later. In Module 2, it talks about assess the situation. Assessing a situation means learning to step back from your emotions and strive to see the situation in an objective and rational manner. You need to understand what went wrong and what could be the cause. For example, when you're going through a divorce or breakup, it might feel like your heart is breaking into pieces and you feel like crumbling. Many of us has been there, thinking, I'm not good enough. It's my fault. It's his fault. Or where did I go wrong? All these negative thoughts will just drain your positive energy and will not do any justice to your health. Instead, you assess what you can do. When you assess them, then you can lessen your pain, making it less upsetting and more truthful than the thoughts themselves. Then either consciously or unconsciously, you will begin to accept the truth. There are 3 steps There are 3 steps to assess the situation. One of them is control your emotion. Stay calm and collected. Don't let your emotions overpower your cognition. Then time allowance. Give yourself time to think. Don't rush if it's not urgent or important. Likewise, don't delay if you don't have enough time and it's urgent. At least give your time to breathe. Then investigate the situation using how, where, when, what, why, what happened, what should I do, what do I have, what abilities can I do now, what abilities do I have, what strength do I have. Things happen. This will help you as a guide to better understand the root cause. As a 10-year-old girl, I had to learn to assess my situation. First, I had to control my emotion from crying almost every night after losing my mother. Though I had to give myself a time to grieve and heal from pain and loneliness. I was having a regular self-talk, telling myself to settle down as quick as possible. Otherwise, I would not be able to concentrate studying for my final exams. Therefore, if I didn't get good grades, I wouldn't be able to go to the school the following year. I needed to receive high results in order to obtain a scholarship if I wanted to continue my education. Financially, I had no other option. Think of a recent incident, accident, or dilemma that has occurred in your life recently. Answer the following question later. I will just go back to it later. I just want to go to the 3rd module, which is the eliminating fear. Don't let negative thoughts, emotions, like fear, control and stand in your way when you are confronted with obstacles. This could be fear of failure, fear of success, fear of rejection, discomfort, fear of not being good enough or not smart enough. I think that kind of fear is very common among us women. Our number 1 enemy is fear of the unknown. Instead, eliminate your fear and face. For me, fear is face every adversity, then rise, then take control of the circumstances. Being aware of your fears and asking yourself questions about the fears will allow you to transition, to face your fear head on. Most of the time, you are challenged to a more realistic experience related to the obstacle you are facing. Even beyond that, acknowledging and facing your fears usually gives you courage towards ways in which you can eliminate fears and gain control over any obstacle. It is very important that you eliminate the fear in your way. This will help you to feel less stress and understand better how you will cope. There are 3 steps also of eliminating fear. First is confirming your fear. Know what you are scared of. Confirm those fears so you can prepare how you deal with them. What are your fears? Ask yourself. Then confront your fear. Face your fears head on. When your calling is strong, when your calling is strong, you conquer fear. But if your fear is stronger, then the fear conquers you. So don't let fear take over to manipulate you. Then challenge yourself. Tell yourself that you are stronger and you are able to withstand any adversity and you can rise. It's a self-belief that you need to acknowledge and take control over. Don't give up. Reflect on what you can do better. Make adjustment and persist. I'll take you back. In June 1991, I paved my way to earn a university scholarship in Malaysia. For me, being an orphan, to go abroad to study was another obstacle to handle. I was scared of the unknown, and I was creating so many fears in my head, traveling to a new country with no financial stability. Then 3 days before my departure to Malaysia, I had to convince and believe in myself that it's okay. I should be able to manage, and there's nothing to worry as long as I do the right thing. For me, that was a big decision to make at the time. But I faced every adversity, and I rose. Okay, there's another practice to reflect on. Think of one challenging experience where you were in a safe state of worry and confusion due to the presence of fear that you did not know how to eliminate it. We will go to that later. We go to the module 4, which is the gratitude. Transform your fear, anger, and confusion to peace, happiness, and gratitude by fulfilling it with pure love and compassion. Being hurt leads to hate, anger, undue suffering, and many more damaging emotions. This is okay in the short period, but by holding on to this negative feeling for years, months, or lifetime, you harm yourself rather than the person who hurt you. Preoccupy yourself with positive thoughts to experience gratitude. In psychology research, gratitude is strongly and consistently associated with greater happiness. Gratitude helps people feel more positive emotions, relish good experiences, improve their health, deal with adversity, and build strong relationships. I want to show you Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Having the very basic needs to be grateful for what you have in your life. Right now, it can be as simple as having a roof on your head, a warm bed to sleep, food in the kitchen, or clean running water, electricity. To satisfy the very basic needs, for me, that's more than enough. We should be grateful and thankful for what we have. There are millions of people who don't have that. Sometimes the more we have, the more greedy we become, and we forget to be thankful and grateful. Satisfying the very basic needs, which is the physiological needs of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I think is more than enough for a lot of us to feel that gratitude. There are 4 steps. There are 4 steps involved in gratitude. First is self-compliment. Give yourself due credits. Praise yourself as you praise other people. Recognize your talents and abilities, your strength. This is not affirmation. You're not affirming them. You're just complimenting yourself. Then practice kindness. Be kind to yourself and others. Even as simple as smile or thank you or good morning, good evening, good afternoon to someone. Really, you will put a smile on their face. Also share your blessings to the needy if you can. Cognitive flexibility is now the right time that we need to practice cognitive flexibility. This is being able to think multiple concepts at this time. Adapt and respond to new situations effectively. Think more creatively. Stretch yourself beyond your comfort zone. Adapt, change, so you can grow and develop. Now, it is really the good time to practice cognitive flexibility at this very challenging time. Self-forgiveness. Forgive yourself, the environment, and forgive the cause of the problem. Forgiveness will ease the pain, anger, bitterness, resentment, and negativity. Forgiving is something you do to yourself, so you free yourself to let go of negativity. and not for the person who wronged you. When you forgive, you feel a lot better to switch into positive emotions of understanding, love, and compassion. Then you will begin to feel gratitude and appreciate what you have. By forgiving, you can also embrace hope and gratitude, which can lead you down to acceptance. Our current situation now is the best time to reflect and practice gratitude. Throughout my entire life, this COVID-19 virus is the biggest obstacle across the globe. Each and every one of us, regardless of social or economic status, age, gender, profession, or culture and nationality, are affected. Its magnitude is beyond our expectation and so overwhelming that it shakes the world, the whole world. Fear is overtaking us, stagnating, crippling every country's economy, socio-economy, education, health system, and occupations, where many people are losing their jobs and thus hope. Some are experiencing mental issues such as depression and anxiety, health issues, financial issues, and the list can go on. Many people from third world countries are struggling to put food on their table once a day. 1 week ago, the father of a close family collapsed on the floor due to the lack of resources and nutrition, being unable to eat a meal for 3 consecutive days. This tragedy is just one of those millions of people out there suffering due to this coronavirus. As part of the human race, we need to accept that the coronavirus is a universal obstacle that everyone is facing, and it's beyond our control. However, today we can decide to move forward and create a better outcome for tomorrow. We are all part of this obstacle, and we are also part of the solution if we choose. Therefore, you need to be optimistic, appreciative of your health, energy, strength, talents, and skills. Give yourself credit of being talented and creative. So utilize and maximize your creativity and think outside the box to become part of the solution now. Let your cognitive flexibility kick in. It's time to practice kindness to yourself and to those who are in need. Share your blessings. Even simple words of kindness to yourself and to others are needed now more than ever. All of us are affected either directly or indirectly, and we all need to help, support, and show kindness and forgiveness to each other. We need to stop placing blame on each other. Instead, accept that the COVID-19 is a global obstacle, and we need to understand its impact may linger for a year, 2, or even 3 years before we could completely flatten the curve and return to normalcy. Acceptance will ease or even free you from negative emotions during this challenging time. Then you can focus on how would you turn this challenging time into an opportunity. Practice gratitude. Before I get in there, because my presentation is ending, I just want to say one thing for sure. Acceptance is not easy. It is one of the most difficult things to do, especially when you are emotionally affected. Yet, acceptance is a very powerful tool to overcome any form of obstacles. The quicker you go through an acceptance, the better and faster you make decisions to move forward and chase your dreams.